Some action at the U tonight. 12 buildings on campus are locked tonight after protests that started at Morrill Hall yesterday and then moved to the Hennepin County Jail this morning. That's where the 11 protesters from last night were arrested and then were subsequently held. According to the university, the protest was illegitimate last night. The U says it threatened the safety of employees and it destroyed campus property. But the protesters, who are out again tonight, maintain their push for the university to completely divest from Israel, citing what they see as a greater concern, the continuing humanitarian crisis in Gaza. This tension between students and the administration and the occupation of the building, this is nothing new. For more, here's Morgan Wolf.
The protesters point out changes in the policies for demonstrations on campus that frustrate them. But the university told me today that they consolidated those protest policies and made no new changes. Protesting has always been a part of the fabric of the University of Minnesota. The morning after 11 students and alumni were arrested for occupying a university building, their peers waited for their release downtown.
I can't speak for our whole organization, but speaking for myself, I know as an activist, it can be tiring. We've been out here rallying, marching for pretty much the same demands that we were in the spring.
Juliet Murphy is a sophomore and a part of a Students for a Democratic Society. They're just one of the student organizations a part of U of M Divest Coalition. Last spring, the group joined students across the country with an encampment to demonstrate their support for Palestine. Within days, university leaders met with protesters who agreed to put the encampment to an end.
We had a very constructive dialogue this morning. The meeting had originally been scheduled to be a half hour, and instead we went an hour and a half because we were engaged in good conversation.
A series of commitments were made by the university that they say that they've followed through with, disclosing university expenditures, recommending UMPD do not arrest or charge anyone for the encampment once it was removed, and connecting to Palestinian universities. They've agreed to give 3 students overseas scholarships.
Complete solidarity.
But things turned sour for the student organizers, feeling that they weren't heard in their repeated request to cut financial ties to Israel.
Our intention is not to destroy property. Our intention is not to prevent students, faculty from leaving the building. It was simply to occupy the building to show the university that we are willing to risk arrest for these causes.
A message protesters wanted to send the university yesterday. It's now being felt differently by the Jewish Community Relations Council.
Intimidation, vandalism, occupation is not free speech. It's about stoking fear and interfering with the life of the university.
Morrill Hall, where the university's president's office is located, has been the grounds for protests for decades.
The most famous occupation was in 1969 when a coalition of Black students peacefully occupied Morrill Hall for about a day.
Jane Kirtley, a media ethics and law professor, says the university has an obligation to protect the rights for individuals to protest peacefully. However,
the First Amendment does not give us a right to destroy property, however strongly we may feel about our cause. The challenge is to balance the First Amendment rights of the protesters and the rights of others on campus to go about their regular business, their regular day.
Now, I also learned that protesters do meet every 2 weeks with the university administration, but they still feel like the university's demonstration guidelines are restrictive. But a university spokesperson says that they are there to promote peaceful protests. Some of them do include only one handheld bullhorn, signs and banners smaller than 14 inches by 22 inches, and permits for larger events.
Even when you think about a protest, no matter what it's for, to have rules around protests seems kind of doesn't make sense, I would assume, to protesters.
Yeah, I think that's something that they're irritated with right now.